You too. What's going on? Appreciate y'all watching the videos. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I'm up early, man. 9 o'clock is early for me. What's going on? Yeah, man. Good morning. What I'm crying about, fo. The round table meeting. What's going on? Everybody in here today. Truck and Fish Show. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Where you been? Too early to be crying. Brandon, you got your own authority, man. Congratulations, man. You tired of brokers setting appointments for the wrong days? Man, don't be jinxing me, man. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. You need to find some different brokers to run for. You know, Fofo, let me ask you a question. How can you get on the load board? The load boards are subscription based. Some of them require you to have a DOT number to get on there. So the load board subscription based, you got to pay a fee. You up 5 a.m. I've been trying to do that, man, and I've been reading some stuff about successful people, and they've been talking about you got to get up early to best use your day and your hours in your day better is to build a regimen of getting up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, doing all kind of stuff, but it's hard, man. Shout out to Brandon. Okay. Simple Logic and Brandon, they from the 757 area. Hey, Popo, please ask Brandon to contact so I can holler at him. Well, if you're watching this live feed, all you got to do is click on his comment, and it'll take you to his page, and y'all can link up like that, man. Sauce Boss Trucker. What's going on? I gave you a wrench. I don't recall giving you a wrench. But I appreciate you being in here. Keep a lookout for some of these trolls in here. I'm trying to get it get a mentorship program for drivers. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I'm thinking about writing a book. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I'm thinking about it. Yo, about yesterday talk, you going to mess around and get hit with a round table fine for inviting busters to the round table. I always feel like I'm gonna miss something. Yeah, I be feeling like that too. But I still don't get up. I know I'll be missing out on some good loads by sleeping in. What's a good local company around Atlanta? I mean, in Atlanta, you're probably gonna be looking at the top five carriers. You know, the top five. You got UPS, FedEx, you know, RL, Estes. Um, you know, I know guys at XPO, and I know guys at Estes, and I knew a guy at RL. I mean, I knew all these guys, and they all made $20+ an hour. You know, local. They all made 60, 70K plus. So uh, I knew a guy at FedEx. He was making like 80K. You know, um, I knew a guy at UPS. He was over the road, and he was making 65 cents a mile. Um, he was doing hub work. He was going back and forth, pulling doubles. He was just doing they call it line haul. I think they call it line haul in the LTL. But doing in the local industry, you're gonna be looking at LTL, man. That's just what it is. You're gonna be looking at LTL. That's where the money's at. Um, that's just where the money at LTL. That's you know. And then the step down for that would be like Snyder Intermodal or JB Hunt Intermodal. So if you can't get on with like UPS, FedEx, US Mail, even though I'm kind of skeptical about US Mail because I don't know US Mail, I don't see them doing anything good in the future because they got a lot of some reorganizational stuff going on. So US Mail may go out of business or some private company may scoop them up. I don't know because like US Mail is on the edge of going out. So I don't know. But so I would do UPS, FedEx, US Mail, any of the LTL carriers, Estes, RL, XPO, SAIA, SAIA. And then once you look at all the LTL companies, Wilson, Central, what is it, Central? All them LTL guys, all them jobs pay $20+ an hour starting. Okay. Old Dominion, you can get on with Old Dominion 3-6 months experience right out of truck driving school. They start you about $20, $22 an hour, you know, and then after about 5 or 10 years, you'll be topped out at like $26, $28 an hour, and then you get a cost of living raise. And then, you know, I know guys are, you know, they making $30, $35 an hour doing LTL work. And then once you clear out all the LTL carriers, I would look at the big carriers that's got intermodal. I wouldn't do nothing else. I would look for all the carriers, the big companies that's got intermodals, like the JB Hunts, the Snyders, the Swifts. I look at Swift Intermodal. I'll apply there. Snyder Intermodal, JB Hunt Intermodal, because intermodal is stable. Okay, hold on, y'all. I gotta get my paperwork. Yeah, I gotta get my paperwork. Hold on. Bear with me. Hold on. Get paper. Okay. Today the 5th, ain't it? Sir. All right, thank you. All right, y'all. Got my paperwork. I like this place here. I pull those out of here all the time. They load me up fast. I think they the fastest warehouse in Atlanta. It's an international paper load. It's printing paper, copier paper. Regular plain Jane copier paper. They about the fastest warehouse in Atlanta. As soon as you go to the office, they give you a door. As soon as you bump the dock, whoop, 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 about 20 minutes, done. I just backed in the door. But anyway, yeah, so after you done cleared out if you can't get a job with none of the LTL companies, go down to my next level of companies would be the big truckload carriers that's got intermodal. Don't let them con you to getting on like over the road and the truckload stuff over the road and all that. Do intermodal. Get on intermodal. You can do intermodal regional or you can do intermodal local. If they got a regional position open, get on the regional, and then when a local spot open up, you get on local. And it's more stable. You come in, just like you just come in. Some jobs pay by the hour, some jobs pay by the stop, and that's if you want to do local. You make good money, 60, 70,000, but it takes time to get there. You might come in making 50, and then once you get your money up, once you get tenure and get your raises and stuff like that, I mean, you can get up there, 65, 70,000, So, and then within that, you can do like private. You can do some of the private companies. You can do some of the private companies. The private companies. Like, for example, Walmart private fleet. Now, you're not gonna go to Walmart and just apply and just get on, right? You're gonna have to bang down doors. You have to know somebody. But Walmart private fleet, they do have local positions where you driving a Walmart day cab, but them positions are like select group of positions, and they only give them to them guys that's been there for 30, 40 years. So it's going to be difficult. But if you can get on like you got Walmart, Sherwin-Williams, Publix, you got Publix. I'm trying to think of some other companies that, Budweiser, Pepsi. You got Budweiser. You can, do beer and you deliver to like grocery stores and corner stores and stuff like that. Now, it's a trade-off. Now you gotta understand you're doing local work. Now you gotta understand if you want to do local, you gotta understand you gotta touch the freight. You don't drive as much, but you're doing like 10, 15, 20 stops a day. You touching that freight and you delivering product to a route. You're assigned to a certain route, a certain area, and you service that area. So you can do Budweiser, Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Budweiser, all the beer distributors. Find a couple beer distributors in your area, beverage distributors, food service. I'm talking about local work. You can look at some food service companies, Cisco, Sigma, McLean, Mission Foods, their private fleet, their manufacturer make their own product, and you'll be a driver that work for Mission Foods. Like all these food companies out here, they manufacture their own product and they're private. They have trucks that to deliver their own product. Coca-Cola, all the food companies, beverage companies, Sherwin-Williams, Home Depot, they got truck driving jobs. Lowe's, you can pretty much Google any regional company, all the regional companies in your area, and just hit them up with job applications and resumes, and just hit them up. And you'll hit up you get a local job eventually. I mean, some of these jobs you can't get in as a local truck driver straight up. Some of them, they make you start on the dock first. They make you do dock work first. You'll be a forklift driver making $19-20 an hour, and then you'll work on the dock, and then you'll work on the dock, and you'll be a shuttle driver. You'll drive the yard truck. You move trailers from the dock and stuff. You'll do that for about 3-6 months. I've known guys to do that. They do that for about 6 months to a year. And then once a truck driving local job open up, then you move into they'll assign you to a route, and then you be local. And this is all kind of ways to do that. Because, you watch my channel, you're going to get owner operator. It's a lot of guys that make videos as a local truck driver. So, yeah, it's all kind of companies out there. So you just got to think about it a little bit, and you find a bunch of companies out there. If you want to drive school buses, you can drive school buses, man. I won't be fooling around with no kids or nothing like that. You can drive city buses, I've known guys. I knew one guy, he used to drive for a Greyhound. He used to drive for Greyhound, and then he retired from Greyhound, and he went and bought his own truck. Yeah, Southeastern, that's another one. They out of South Carolina, but they got hubs and terminals all over the country. Cisco pays $85K if you're willing to. Right, Cisco pays very well. I know guys at Cisco making $2,000 a week, but you gotta touch the freight. You gotta understand, you touching the freight. You delivering to McDonald's and Applebee's and restaurants and stuff like that. It's food service. I tried clicking on your name and it allowed me to both on your parent who's safe retire right now. Upgrade to a reefer trailer or air. Eugene asked me about a trailer upgrade to a reefer truck. I mean, me personally, I've been looking at some options. Like I'm thinking about adding some trailers. I don't want to be fooling around with trucks. It's easier to get a count if I got multiple trailers, right? And then I can just hire guys with their own truck, to move trailers. So I think it's better, cheaper, to have trailers. I would go for trailers. I wouldn't be fooling around with trucks. Because trucks, when you own a truck and then you got to get a driver in the truck, that's more responsibility on you. You got to pay insurance and you got to pay all that. For a trailer, you don't even need insurance on a trailer, really. I mean, real talk. You can put insurance on it, but you just put the public liability on it, but that's about it. You don't have to insure the trailer, because if you find a $5,000 trailer, you can just keep $5,000 for physical damage in your checking account. You can self-insure. You can self-insure a $5,000 trailer. You don't need to get no expensive insurance physical damage policy on a trailer. Okay. You just pay. You can charge a driver to use your trailer and take and hold a deposit on that trailer for that driver. And so if he tears something up, tires or rip off a door, then you can pull money out his escrow to pay for that. So I can almost guarantee you the driver gonna tear something up on the trailer. So that's almost guaranteed. I would even say hold $2,000 escrow for a trailer if you're gonna lease it out to a guy or something like that. Because he gonna blow a tire, he gonna rip off a trailer door, he gonna bump into somebody, and so you have that money ready. You have that money ready plus additional $5,000 or $6,000 for physical damage in case it's a total loss on the trailer instead of getting insurance policy. That's what I would do. It's cheaper. It's just a cheaper way to do business, and you can build a lot of business doing that. You can go to any shipper out here with 3-4 trailers and get a drop account and service that customer if they got 3-4 loads a week, 5 or 6 loads a week, and be out and back and servicing that customer. You know what I mean? Instead of messing around with trucks. With trucks, you got a motor, you got maintenance. You just got more risk involved fooling around with a truck. So when you can just hire guys and let them handle the truck shit, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion, Eugene. How much would I need to get my own authority? Man, I got a bunch of videos talking about that, man. Southeast paying 23 out the gate. Yeah. 400% gain. For an authority startup cost $30K. Regional intermodal is best. Hub Group max out $75K. I don't recall. I know a few guys who work at Hub Group doing intermodal, and I don't recall any of them doing anywhere close to 75. All the guys I know at Hub Group make about 50, and they pay about an hour. I think it's like $16, $17 an hour. So Hell intermodal. Yeah, Hell intermodal. Right. Trucker B1111 said he just bought 2 trailers 08 dry vans at an auction for $6K. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's just my opinion. That's just what I've been seeing. If you want to get a good local job, you need to specialize. Right. See, he did $70K in a motor in Annapolis, JB Hunt local. Yeah. And it's stable. It's very stable. In a motor, you come in and you check in with your manager. He may or may not have all your loads ready for you for the day, and you just hitting up the rail yards. That's all you're doing. Just hitting up them rail yards. And the pay package is pretty good. I mean, it's got a decent pay package. You get sick pay, vacation, all that shit. All the corporate garbage you get. Medical insurance, blah blah blah, life insurance, blah blah blah, all that garbage. 401K, blah blah blah, and yeah, and if you are indeed looking for local, I mean, me personally, I just don't like messing with corporate America. I can't stand corporate policy, corporate bull, corporate BS. I can't stand corporate BS, and it's a lot of things I want to do, and having a corporate job just can't do it for me. I get, I don't know. I get like a feeling of like, I don't know the word for it, but I get kind of working in corporate America just gives me like a feeling of like, I don't know the word. I feel choked a little bit. like it's a lot of things I want to do, and like you try to talk to your manager or you try to talk to people in management, what things you want to do, and you got to keep kissing their ass, and it's just like you never get nowhere, and you just get tired of doing that, Just like what, I'm done with this. Let me get up out of here and go out here and make my own moves, So, but if you don't care nothing about that, you just want to go to work Monday through Friday, get your check, and chill out on the weekend. Hey, having a job is, be good for you. That's what you want. To me, that's boring. It's a boring life, but you know, that's just me personally. You know, Pepsi are paying 100 a day to leave your trailer on their yard. Yep, I heard about that. I've heard companies out here paying, you know, about $100 to $200 a day when you got a trailer pool, when you got a direct account and you got a trailer pool, because what that is that motivates them to put work on your equipment because they're using your equipment. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the contract. So when you get set up with a direct shipper, they have all that stuff in the contract, and you know, uh, it'll have all that stuff in there talking about them using your equipment if they want to do a shuttle, like if they want to do like a shuttle back and forth between warehouses or something like that. They have a fee for that. It's got all kind of stuff in there, and all these big companies out here with these big ass trailer pools, they got 150 trailers. Like you go to Kimberly Clark, you go to all these big Procter and Gamble, these big distributors out here, and you go in there and you see all JB Hunt, Snyder, and all that. They got these big trailer pools, 50 trailers, 100 trailers, 200 trailers on these companies' properties. They getting a kickback for that. Plus, they moving the load. You know what I mean? So it's good stuff, man. It's real good stuff. And when you start getting up on a level, thinking about this level of business, I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You just restricted in corporate. Yeah, that's how I feel, man. Exactly how I feel. Memphis, Tennessee to 804-757 equals $2,000. Yeah, that's about right. That Memphis to Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton Roads area. That's I've seen loads paying a little bit more than that, maybe 25, 26, 2,800 coming out of Memphis. I mean, that Memphis area always paid well. It's good loads that come out of Memphis. I love running out of Memphis. Damn good loads run out of Memphis. Compressed gases pay well. Yeah, air gas. Local gas truck guys, they make good money. You know, um, right. Jamar Turner says, but you working 6 days, 12-hour days. Exactly, man. Exactly. And so, um, it's a few jobs out there where you work 40 hours a week and you make about 60, 70K out there. It's a few of them. But a lot of these jobs, you have to work up to it and you have to put your time in. Trucking is not a lazy job. Okay, trucking ain't a type of job where you can just kick your feet up and just be chilling. You got to put your time in. You know, like if you get on with Publix, I think Publix pay their guys like $30 an hour, and that's a 40-hour work week. You can work a little bit more, but generally, I knew a guy at Publix. He was working about 40, 45 hours a week. He was making 60 something K a year, 70K a year. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't working too hard. He would go out, he would come in, shoot the shit a little bit, get his load, run his load to a couple stores, and then come on in, and it'll be time to go home. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what you want out of life. Uh, you know, uh, I don't know, man. I mean, me personally, I just think, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's up to y'all, man. Whatever y'all want to do, it's really up to you. What you want out of your life. Looking at this load board, trying to see what this load board working with. My bad, y'all. This what we talking about here isn't what I was gonna make this video about. But since y'all talking about trucking jobs, I'm gonna roll with it. Since we talking about trucking jobs. I'm just gonna roll with it. Just gonna roll with it. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking at this load board. I'm trying to make sure I got a good rate on this load. I got this load going down to Lakeland, Florida. And I felt like the load was a little low. But I was like, and I'm trying to decide whether, and I think I got a decent rate, because it looks like the going rate to go down to Florida right now is about 1,500 right now. So that's, I'm looking at the DAC board and the Uber board, and I'm just trying to make sure that I got a decent rate. I could have got more, but I mean that's about, I already got the freight on my truck, but I'm just trying to make sure. I'm just trying to make sure. Bryant James said, local regional home daily equals big money, but has longer hours, back breaking. Right, because you're touching the freight. Because you gotta understand where you are on the food chain. Okay, in the truckload sector of trucking, okay, when you pulling the freight straight from the manufacturer right off the assembly line to a distributor, well, you more than likely gonna be over the road or something like that. Now, once you start to get down to like local type stuff, where in the food chain you're going from the distributor to the end user or something like that, that means you're gonna be doing the sorting part of the food chain process. And so that hands-on, you got to decide where in that level of food chain from manufacturer all the way down to the end user, where you are, where you want to be at. You want to provide a supporting role, or you want to provide a operational role. You got operations, and so you got to decide where you want to be at in that food chain. So I think, me personally, I think you should get your own truck, but not everybody is technically inclined, have have a business sense about themselves. When I say business sense, I mean it takes a real creative person to be out in business. Okay, you talking about a certain level of creativity. It's like at any given moment, you gotta be able to think fast and be quick on your feet. Okay, and I can tell you lots of times I've had like issues on the road, but I surprise myself how well I handle certain things, and my mind just kick in, and I just be like, okay, I'm gonna go and do this and do that and do that. Like, for example, I was up in Pennsylvania and my truck broke down. I had a coolant hose that bust. Okay. I was like, damn, I was under a load. I was under a load. So what I did was I looked at it and I was like, damn, leaking coolant. So I cranked the truck up and I looked at it. Okay, the coolant was leaking, but it wasn't gushing out. So I filled the truck up with some coolant. I don't know what I had, water or coolant or something. So I filled the truck up with coolant and I looked for a Freightliner dealership in the area. So I found a Freightliner dealership. I called the parts department, make sure that they had the part. I limped the truck down to the Freightliner and I got the part, replaced it right in the doggone parking lot of the Freightliner while I was under a load. It only took me about 2 hours or so, maybe. And I was still able to make my appointment time on time. And so I'm thinking, like, if that was somebody else, if that situation was somebody else, if they didn't have the technical creativity, business type sense to be flexible and being able to, like, I don't know the word for it. So, because a lot of guys want to get their own truck, right? I be talking to guys, a lot of guys want to get their own truck, but some guys are just not fit to just be owning the equipment, because you got to understand, this truck rig is a lot of responsibility and you got to know how to manage it. You got to know how to handle it. I mean, maybe, dude, because you can't call breakdown. You got your own truck and trailer, you can call breakdown, but you're going to be waiting 4 or 5 hours and it's going to cost you. So while you're on the side of the road, you might want to go ahead and try to figure out something. Okay. Maybe you can limp your truck to a place, or maybe you can go for a walk. Maybe you can call an Uber, take it to a parts place and get the part and put it on yourself. You know, not everybody, see, like with me personally, I have a technical background. Okay. I've been fixing on stuff. I have like 2-3 mechanics in my family, and like I've been around fixing stuff my whole life. And so naturally I pick up on this stuff quick. You know what I mean? Like fixing on stuff, being creative and figuring stuff out. I've been like that my whole life. And so, you know, so it's just not everybody is fit to do stuff. Some people are just fit to just go into a job, punch in and punch out. And that's just what it is. You know, I mean, just some guys never held a wrench in their hand before. They never fixed nothing. They never had to fix nothing. Anything beyond putting a light bulb in, just some people just never been like that. And so for me, having my own authority is easier for me because I have just certain skills that just come natural. I've been around certain things. I have, you know, it makes sense. You know, for example, doing rental properties, like all my rental properties, I rehab myself. Now, some of the rehab I made, you know, call a contractor, you know, to put in an AC, to put a roof on or something like that. But doing floors, light electrical work, changing out some outlets, replacing a water heater, replacing a sink, replacing some pipes in a wall, replacing flooring tile, you know, some plumbing, light plumbing stuff, some light electrical stuff. A lot of things that I know, like a lot of guys out here, they will call a contractor for. And so I make this thing look easy, but I know the average person would probably can't keep up because I have a large skill set. My skill set is really broad, and so um, not everybody is just fit to be doing stuff like that. You know, um, so 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 I make that point to say that me personally, I think you should get a truck. But then I have to catch myself and be like, nah, not everybody can have a truck because not everybody have a base to start from. Not everybody have that foundation. Now, I mean, you can start. You got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. But then for me, it's easier because I've been around mechanics and handymen, do-it-yourselfer type of men in my family my whole life since I was a little boy. So, um, and you know that helps, you know, to have good, strong men in your family. You know, I got two uncles that are mechanics, and my brother. You know, I mean, I got 3, 4 men in my family that contributed to who I am today. So it makes it easier for me to come out here and do things on my own because I have that creative foundation. I got that foundation, that mechanical ability, that technical foundation. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys, they never had no father that helped them with nothing, no uncles, no brothers that fixed on nothing. And so getting this truck was the first, getting their truck is like the first time that they ever had to fix on anything. And so when they get hit with a breakdown on the side of the road, they don't even know how to handle it. You know what I mean? Like with me, if I was to have a tire blowout, I would just change the tire right on the side of the road. You know what I mean? I ought to do a video about that. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had a tire blowout. I was under a load. I was under a load. I had a tire that blew out. I was under a load. I was headed to. I had like 2 hours. I had a extra 2 hours in my time, so I was able to stop, pull over. I pulled over at a truck stop right in the parking lot, replaced that tire, and kept it moving. You know what I mean? That could have easily been 3, 4 hours, a whole bunch of extra fees and expenses. A whole, you know, I would have to call a breakdown, a tire guy to come by, have to pay a service call, plus the expensive tire and all this. That would have been $1,000, 500, 600, $700 doggone road call easily. And if you don't have that background, that stuff right there could set you back, you know. $1,000, $1,000 for this, $1,000 for that, $1,000 for this, you know. 1250 basic for lacing. Kroger DC driver Teamster pays well in ATL Elmwood. Last time I checked, I know I talked to a Kroger guy. I think he was making like $18 an hour or something like that. You got to be, I mean, with any job, you got to be over there for a while. That's all. I mean, you'll get up there $25, $30 an hour. You just got to start. You know, a lot of people don't start. Rochelle says you handled that accident with creative measures, quick thinking. Yeah, I had that accident. I forgot all about that. Y'all go back in my catalog. I got a video about me. I was involved in an accident. Somebody ran up under my trailer, tore my tandems up. But tore my tandems up. You have to be a thinker, learn business as an op instead of just being a drive employee. More brain work, not for every trucker. That's right. Mary Rochelle says one must possess creative ingenuity. You got to be clever. inventive, had a skill set and ideas to solve problems. Right, right. You know, first gen trucker says, "What about permits? What permits? I got all my permits that I run. My uncle, a mechanic. It's not a choice. It's a good testing ground for you to do." That's right. That's right. You know, if you want to test the waters on whether you want to own a truck or not, a good way to test that is to lease on for a while. Go and lease a truck for a while. I know some guys be like, "Man, don't lease no truck. Go buy a truck." That's stupid, man. Why the hell would you invest in a business? Because that's what you're doing. Why would you go invest in the business without doing no research or doing a trial basis to see how it works? Go and lease on with one of these companies out here and see how you like it. You know, see how you like it. Try it out for about a year or two, and then reevaluate. Be like, you know what? I like this. You know, I can handle this, and just buy the damn truck afterwards, or turn around, get a truck back, and go buy your own truck. You know, Money Mike Slick Will, what's going on? If you can stand the payment, that's right. And see, Brian James, when we talking about that payment, because when you're going to lease on somewhere, depending on where you lease on, the payment may be high, may be low, because not every lease from a company is high. I mean, I've seen some great leases out here. I've seen John Krishner's Trucking, they have a great lease purchase program. You lease the truck for about 3 years or something like that, and they have $1 buyout. And while you're leasing the truck, everything is covered under their lease program. Everything is covered, so it's no risk. I was reading about that. John Krishner Trucking, they got a great lease program. Hill Brothers, Hill Brothers got a great lease program. I'm trying to think of another company. It's another small Midwest company out there. They got a so like when you shopping around for a lease purchase, man, find a lease purchase that, for one, everything is covered while you leasing the truck. You know, if you want to do a lease purchase and you looking to buying the truck, make sure at the end of that, while you in the lease, that everything is covered. Oil changes, major breakdowns, all that stuff. Because then, meanwhile, while you running the truck, that allows you to save your money, and then once you buy the truck, you get the title to the truck. You can go out here and do what you want to do. You know, and so a lot of guys be like, "Man, you just go to the dealership, get your own authority." That's stupid. I know a lot of guys. I know a lot of guys who've done that, and like they stick. They have. I know guys who got the authority way before me, and they are 3, 4 years in, 5 years in with their authority, and they don't even know what the hell they're doing. They still don't know what the hell they're doing. Here I am, a year. Here I am, 2 years in with my authority, and I'm way ahead of them. Okay, in a lot of ways, and so, like, I'm like, and like, I contributed a lot of that due to the fundamental training that I had from being with a big carrier, then leasing on, and then learning that whole, like, learning the big picture about how to run your truck and maintenance and safety and stuff like that. And so I know guys who just they drove for a company for 6 months, and then they went straight out there and got their own authority. And then it's just a crash and burn situation just because they moved too damn fast. They didn't know what the hell they was doing. And then they still don't know what the hell they're doing because they've been doing things wrong the whole time. They don't, I learn from what the big boys do. I learn from the bigger fleets, and I bring that knowledge into my own truck. And so, um, 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 I mean, a lot of it's common sense, to tell you the truth. Yo, big money for Publix load. Publix load? Um, nah, this ain't no Publix load. This is an international paper. Yeah, this international paper in Lakeland. Would you still recommend SF5 and Snyder to start off, get a truck? I would do Snyder Finance on a 1-year lease only. If they got an 18-month, I do it, but you know, the truck payment and everything got to be right. So if I look at the numbers and it's some ridiculous truck payment like $900 a month, $900 a week and shit, no. The highest truck payment I'll do is $700 a week. That's it. That's still too high, but $700 a week out the door. Everything out the door. I'm not doing nothing more than $700 a week. I mean, because you know, I haven't been at Snyder in a while, so I don't know what they rates looking like over there. But you gotta have, it's gotta be enough money out here to support that. You know, that's just straight up. It gotta be enough money out here to support it. You know, but you know, to go over to Snyder, I will go over to Snyder and get one of their used trucks. You know, a truck that's got 250,000 miles on it, something like that, and get that payment like $600 a week. Get that payment at $600 a week, $700 a week max, and do it on a 1 year. Run the truck for about a year, and see if you like it. See if the truck running good. Get a truck with an APU, and and make sure the truck running good. Run that truck for about a year, and if you like it, turn around and go get your own bank financing. That's what I would do. Meanwhile, that first year, if you can't get your own bank financing in your first year, maybe you got to go and do it another year. Maybe you got to run it 2 years. Okay, you run the truck 2 years. You get the balance down to about 50,000, 60,000. You go to the bank again and try to get another bank loan. You get it down to 60,000, you got a good chance of getting a bank loan, and own the truck and be done with it, and get a lower payment. But you got a lot of guys out here, they have an opinion, but their opinion is not sensible for the specific situation. Because you got some guys, they'll be like, man, I wouldn't lease no truck. Well, you won't lease that truck based on where you are right now. But if depending on where you are and with what you know and your level of experience, and when you don't know nothing about a truck, leasing the truck first is always a great idea. That's just all the businesses, all the companies out here do that. Okay, all the big boys out here do that. All the big boys out here do that. Okay, for example, you in the warehousing business, you're in the trucking business, you're in the warehousing business, right? You just picked up a new customer. It's a brand new customer. You never did business with them. On paper, that proposal and that business looks good on paper. You're looking at your profit, and you're looking at, okay, you thinking, okay, I'm gonna make X and Y dollars, okay, off this deal. But you don't know what the relationship gonna be a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years out. So for the first year, you say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and lease this warehouse over here. I'm gonna lease it. I'm gonna put it on a 2 year, 3 year, 5 year lease, whatever. I'm gonna lease it for about 2 years just to see how it go. You say, okay, You leasing it, you doing business, you making money. Okay, yeah, we making money. Year two, you in here, yeah, you making money. Okay, and then at year three, you're like, okay, the owner of the property comes back to you, say, um, if you want to buy this building, I sell it to you, for X and Y. And you looking at the business like, you know what? This bit I've been doing steady. I'm good with this customer. We got a good relationship. You know what? Let me go ahead and buy the building. You go ahead and buy the building. Now the building is yours. You can do what you want to do. That's all. That's just being diligent, careful. That's just being diligent, careful. That's just good business, man. That's lowering your risk. A lot of the big boys do that. And so that comes from reading, educating yourself. Because a lot of you guys, you don't know that. You guys like do what a lot of you guys treat these trucks like it's your personal vehicle or something. Like you buying a car. You're like, oh, I want to buy a car. I'm just gonna go out there and buy a random car for dealership and park it in the yard. This truck ain't no car, dog. You use this car to eat, to make a living with. You can't afford to have fuck ups. You can't afford that. You have to be diligent. You have to be more cautious in your approach and take your time and look at all the angles and make sure that this is the right decision. Simple as that. You can't treat this like, oh yeah, I want a new car. No, you don't treat these trucks like that. You don't be like, oh, I want a truck, and you just go down to the dealership and just randomly just pick any random truck off the lot. No, dog. You asking for your ass to be handed to you. You go buy a random truck off the lot, then you drive the truck for about a week, now it start breaking down. Or you drive the truck for about 2-3 months, it start breaking down. Now you got to dump 20 grand in the fucking truck. Because you in a hurry. Unnecessary to do all that. Very unnecessary. Now you can't go nowhere. You own the truck. You can't go nowhere. You got this motherfucker. You got it. It's yours. You can't go nowhere. And so that conversation, it doesn't, the conversation of that, it doesn't, that conversation is never discussed. That conversation never is discussed. We don't talk about that part. You hear every guy out here. We hear every guy out here, non-business thinking guys that just, oh no, man, go to the dealership, get you a truck, man. Go down there and get you a truck. No, don't run your ass down there and get no goddamn random truck off no dealership that you ain't never drove before, you don't know nothing about. Okay? I don't care how many mechanics you done had look at that damn truck. Shit. So risky. You putting up 30-40 grand for a goddamn truck. A truck that you gotta use to eat with. You banking on this truck you banking that you're gonna build a business off this truck. Like, no, man. I don't recommend that, man. Take your time. Slow down a little bit. Get max money before self-driving trucks take over. I don't think autonomous trucks gonna take over. This trucking industry has got, like, it's built on job security, just like a lot of industries. There's like a built-in job security, and by its nature, trucking just got its built-in job security, and with it's just a lot of things. It's a lot of things in trucking that's gonna stop. It's a lot of things in trucking that's gonna stop that's gonna slow that process down. I'm not saying it's never gonna happen. I'm just saying it. You know, there's certain parts of trucking that's got that's certain parts of trucking that's got job security in it, and you know, um, there's always going to be a need for a man run truck. There's always going to be a need for that. Just the nature of certain industries just have that. You know, this specifically trucking. It's just what it is. You know, because if you think about, like, for people who don't drive trucks and for people who are not in the trucking industry, it may sound like a possibility, but for guys who actually operate trucks, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Like, these shippers and receivers, these brokers can't even get the right information on the load right. You know what I mean? And you got a lot of people out here that don't like, you got people in trucking, in the transportation industry, that sit up in office. They sit up in the office all day long. And to be honest, that has nothing to do with moving a truck down the road. Somebody who's sitting in the office has nothing to do with freight, the actual product going in a trailer, going to the customer. Okay? That has nothing to do with trucking. That's just a middleman in a way, really. Because you can get on the phone with a broker, or you can get on the phone with the DOT, or you can get on the phone with anybody. That has nothing to do with, okay, Pepsi sending their product to Walmart. If Pepsi wants to send their product to Walmart, it has to physically get the Gatorade, put it in a truck, seal the trailer, get it down the road, and get it to the store, bump it to a dock. A forklift driver has to scoop the freight and get it off the trailer and put it in their warehouse. So if you think about that, it's always going to be a need for a man-run truck at the end of the day. And if you think about that, it's nothing really to be scared of, you know. Now, I do see sometime in the future, like, maybe like those long turnpike lanes, like on I-80 up there on Ohio, or the New York Thruway, the New York Turnpike up there in upstate New York, going from Albany all the way to like going from Albany to like Buffalo, New York, or something like that, or going from Boston all the way to Chicago. I can see that lane being the autonomous trucks, because that's a straight lane. That's going like I-90 coming out of Massachusetts, I-80 coming across the New York upstate thruway, across Ohio, Indiana, all the way to Chicago. I can see that, because that's a long road. That's a long road. I can see some roads being like back and forth. It's because it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's a straight line. And so the road's just not built for it, I don't think. And it's just a lot of built-in security, just human nature. Just human nature. Our human nature is just a built-in security. Autonomous trucks ain't gonna be taken over anytime soon. And I don't think it's nothing to be worried about. All it takes is somebody to get in an accident with one autonomous truck. That's all it's gonna take. Done. That's all it's gonna take. You're gonna see it on the news. A turnpike doubles. Turnpike doubles is like 253 foot trailers and a robotic truck going down the road at 65 miles an hour. Ooh, boy, man. Can you imagine what the accident looks like? Who they gonna sue? That'll be a big old lawsuit. the technology company that built the autonomous truck. I mean, nah, they don't want that responsibility, dog. They don't want that. No, they don't want it. So if you look at all that, it's like we got job security, dog. It's just the nature of moving freight. You know, you physically got to put the freight in a trailer. The truck has to be hooked to the trailer. All of that takes a lot. These loads weigh 45,000 pounds. This freight, you can't just stick it in your back pocket. And so by that nature, knowing what freight is, the weight and security around the freight, like all of that. I mean, I can go on and on. Like, if you think about just the common sense of it, it's like, yeah, man, it's job security. Job security, dog. Ain't going nowhere. You listening to Jim Rohn and Robert Kiyosaki audibles, they really show you how to put the teams together and build wealth. Yeah, man. Yeah. What do you think about automatics? Well, that's an easy question, man. What do you think about automatics versus manual? Man, you better get you a manual truck. If you get an automatic truck, all you doing is fucking yourself. That's all you doing. You handicapping yourself because you go get an automatic truck. You're going to handicap yourself because you're going to get used to driving an automatic truck, and then somewhere in your trucking career, you're gonna need to drive a manual truck. And you ain't gonna know how. You're gonna forget. You ain't gonna know how. And whatever the case may be, I never recommend that. Some guys are just lazy. Some guys are ignorant and lazy. And don't handicap yourself, man. Don't get dependent on something like that, especially when you're talking about your money. Don't do that. Not to mention, automatic trucks are just way more expensive to maintain. If you talking about buying a truck, buy a manual truck, because those trucks, the manual transmission is the operation of it is simple. The mechanics of it is simple. The technology on it is tried and true. You go get an automatic truck, there's a computer that runs that, and sometimes that computer goes out, and there's a whole bunch of other mechanics that goes on with that system, and it's just too specialized. It's going to cost you more money to maintain. And if you're talking about an owner operator, you're talking about lower cost of operation. No, man. No, don't mess with no automatic truck. It's a stupid move. Don't do it. You grown, you can do what the hell you want to do, but you ask me, I wouldn't do it. Right. Yeah, Brian James. Yeah, that's a good point. I remember my starter went out, and all I need is a pull start. You put the truck in first gear and crank right on up. All you need is a pull start. That's all you need. $100 for a pull start. Right. Simple logic. Yeah, man. Simple logic. And just keep on piling up cash, man. Use that truck, man. That truck ain't gonna last forever. Use the shit out that truck. Guys be trying to stretch their truck long as possible, not to like run the truck. Man, run that fucking truck, man. It's an art to maintaining these trucks, man. You gotta run the hell out of it. It's an art to it. You got to keep that balance of maintenance and wear and tear, and making money. You got to pile up cash, so when you do have those wear items that come along, you got the cash to just pay for it. But if you like running 2 loads a week, and say you gotta buy some tires, you don't even have no money to buy no fucking tires, man. Make no sense. Better run that truck. Putting money, you gotta put money in your 401k, you gotta put money back for a new truck, you gotta put money back for you know, whatever, man. Like crazy. Brian James says the big company only lease equipment they never buy outright. Then they turn them in every 3 to 4 years, tax write-off. Right, but see the thing is, doing what the big companies do, you can't do that. You have to stay in your lane. And like I bump into guys and they want to quote what the big companies do and all that, but I'm like, so what they got to do with you? That's their right. They earned that. The big companies got billions. You know, the big companies, JB Hunt, Snyder, all the big companies, they have 10-year, 20-year contracts to buy trucks automatically. Like, you know, they buy them trucks like running water. They don't care about them trucks, man. They can afford to do that because they in that business. But you as a small fleet owner, you can't afford to be taking that kind of hit. You don't have that kind of money to be worrying about that. Like guys like us, we can buy $30,000-$40,000 used truck and maintain it. Even with the breakdowns, we can maintain it because we're in the truck more often, and we have the time enough time and attention to pay attention to, you know, fixing things as we go. But a big company like a JB Hunt, they can't afford to have breakdowns all the time in their fleet. If their fleet is a 10,000 truck fleet, they can't afford that. They can afford it, but it doesn't make sense on a big business level. It don't make sense to be having trucks breaking down all the time. It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense to get rid of the trucks. You pay a flat fee for transportation, get rid of them. That's it. You know you got that cost accounted for, you get rid of the damn trucks, get rid of them. And so, I mean, it makes sense at a big level. But see, a lot of you guys are not at that level, and so you may think it's crazy. Like you haven't earned that right. You know, you don't have no money. Your truck don't make enough money to be doing that. You can't afford to be throwing away trucks like that. The average owner operator can afford to have a 1,000,000-mile truck and it break down every now and then. We can afford that. But a big fleet, JB Hunt can't afford to have no 1,000,000-mile truck laying around. You got drivers in and out of them trucks, tearing the trucks up all the time. You putting a lot of miles on the truck. No, it don't make business sense on a bigger scale, you know? And so you got to understand why these companies do it, so that way you don't you don't disrespect what they're doing. It's a certain level of respect you got to have for these companies doing that kind of stuff, you know. But JB has government contracts. I'm sure they do. Brian says it's whatever your preference. No, I don't think that's the case. You can't treat no business like whatever. You always in business, you always got to go to the numbers. Now y'all can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. It's your prerogative. But if you're gonna come on my channel and ask me information, and I'm a business type of person, I go by the numbers. I'm always gonna go by the numbers. And so whatever it is, I'm going to look at the numbers. I'm always going to look at the numbers, what the numbers say, because I'm here to make money. Okay, I'm here to make money. So if I'm here to make money, and if we going by the numbers, we're going by rate per mile. Everything we do is by rate per mile. Rate per mile. How much money? If we're using money as our baseline of everything that we do, we work off the clock. We work by numbers. Our finances is numbers. Everything is by numbers. And if you're gonna say, okay, you in this business to make money, it doesn't make sense to waste money trying to make it. So the common sense thing would say, okay, don't do things that's gonna cost you money. Do things that's gonna save you money. So if we're here to make money, it makes sense to do things that save you money. If that means you got to look at the numbers, let the numbers tell you what to do. Every move you make is going to be about the numbers. So you're looking at a load. How do you decide whether you're going to do a load or not? Which load pays more? Simple. This load pays more than that load. So I'm going to do that load. I'm not going to do a load that don't pay, that pay less. That's stupid. So anything that you're trying to do with your truck and trailer, it needs to be by the numbers. That's just America. That's the America. That's the world we live in. We do shit by the numbers. Everything is by the fucking numbers. Numbers, 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 numbers. Every time, all the time, numbers. Sometimes guys get in their emotion. We don't use numbers. We lose our common sense. But at the end of the day, business, the science of business is going by the numbers. If you're gonna ask me, and I'm gonna give you a real answer, it's gonna be by the numbers. You buy a truck based on the numbers. You run loads by the numbers. Okay? So if you got 2-3 trucks in front of you, and you got this truck has more maintenance than that truck, why would you buy that truck that's got more maintenance on it? This truck gonna cost you, just talk about a number. This truck gonna cost you $10,000 a year in maintenance. This truck gonna cost you $5,000 a year in maintenance. Why would you get a truck that's gonna cost you more money? That's stupid. It's just not business. I'm gonna get a truck that's gonna cost me cheap as possible to get the job done. It's just a tool. I might spend a little bit more money on like I might spend a little money on upgrades and make me feel comfortable. At the end of the day though, I'm still gonna go based on these numbers. I buy real estate based on the numbers. I buy stocks and mutual funds based on the numbers. My rate of return, I'm going after rate of return all the time. I don't care what company it is. I don't care what they do. Rate of return, I'm going by the numbers. So if you're going to say, well, it really don't matter, no, that's bullshit. We're going to go by numbers. We here to make as much as we can. That's it. And if that's the case, when you go out to dinner, tell the waiter that you don't care how much the food costs. Tell the waiter you don't care how much the food costs. I be damn, I don't care how much the food costs. I'm going to be looking at the menu, trying to decide what I want to eat based on how much it costs. Oh, I'm going to get the steak dinner. Well, I'm going to get the chicken dinner instead of the steak dinner. The steak dinner is $30. Chicken dinner is $12. I'm going to get the chicken dinner. Now, if I'm feeling froggy, I might go for the steak dinner. But I'm sitting here thinking like, no, I really don't care. I just want something to eat. I want something good to eat. I take the chicken dinner. It's just, we use numbers all the time. And so any question you got going forward, it always be about the numbers. Any question you got, well, how much it costs? Give me 3 of them and tell me how much they cost, and I'll go based on how much it costs. That's just me. That's how I always roll. That's how I roll. That's just how I roll. I mean, that's just how I roll. Sometimes I may use my emotions in there, but I say 75% of the time I'm gonna go by the numbers. Especially when we in the trucking business, I move my truck based on numbers. So done. Dead the conversation. Right. Yeah. DB, that's the same reason why I got a new trailer. Because I know a bunch of guys who went out there and got a used trailer, and I guarantee, and guess what? They call me all the time about them getting turned down on loads. When you a new carrier, I already talked about this way before when I got my authority. After I done looked around for about a month or two looking for trailers, I pretty much came to the conclusion. I was just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get a brand new trailer. I was talking to guys who had old used trailers. Now you can go get a gently used trailer that's like 2-3 years old, but they hard to find. Usually when guys buy a trailer, they keep them. Nobody buys a trailer for 2 years and get rid of it. That doesn't happen. Usually when you buy trailers, you keep it forever. Usually guys get rid of trailers. They may trade them up after about 4 or 5 years or something. So you can probably get a 5-year-old trailer, but they hard to find. Most of the time, most of the trailers you're going to find, they're going to be over 10 years old, 10, 15 years old. And once you start inspecting the trailer, there's something wrong with it. It's the floor got a crook in it. The floor got a bow in it. It's got a leak in it or something. There's always something wrong with these used trailers. And so if you out here and you trying to pull if you're trying to pull 98% of the freight, or if you're trying to pull 98% of the freight out here, if you're trying to pull 98% of the freight, you're going to have to get a new trailer. Or you're going to have to get something upwards of a new trailer, because in order to, when you come up to a place to pull out a load, you don't got time for them to be sending you away. That's a waste of time, man. You come to a place and they inspecting your trailer. They're like, nah, we can't load you. This trailer got holes in it. Oh, it's leaky. Or the floor ain't right. It's got wood walls. Whatever the case is. It's like, oh, this trailer, this. I ain't never got turned down on a load. Never, ever. When I got to a customer, I know I'm going to pick that load up because I got good equipment. Done. Conversation done. And to me, I know I'm going to be in this industry for a long time. So it's just like, okay, cool. Ain't nothing wrong with getting a newer trailer. I'm going to keep it for a long time, long as I can. It's going to lessen my risk in this business. Okay? I mean, that's just common sense. But you got some, I done bumped into guys who went and got cheap $5,000 trailers, and they call me all the time. Like, damn, man, I just pulled up to a place, and, he up there sweating bullets because he might get it rejected. And they gonna look at his trailer, it's leaking. He gotta be, because it's raining outside. He worrying about his leaking and all this. I talked to a bunch of guys with this bullshit. I was like, man, you should just went and bought you a new trailer. No, man, I don't want that payment. You gotta deal with something, man. It's an investment. It's a long-term investment. Like all these guys out here be thinking short-term, and they don't have no long-term outlook on their business, man. You get the new trailer, you can always sell it and get your money back out of it, man. It's an asset. Damn, man. It's like you buy that new trailer, you look back on that trailer, you be like, damn. I had this trailer X amount of years. You know what I mean? You can always sell a trailer, man, get your money back out of it. What's the point of buying a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 trailer that's raggedy as shit? It's gonna give you problems the whole time you have it, and then you turn around and sell it for the same amount of money that you done paid for. It don't make no sense. You might as well just buy something that's good, and you spend a little bit more money and get something good and solid, man. You have to worry about it. I go down the road confident. Anything that go in my trailer, I know it ain't leaking. I can pull paper loads. I can pull everything. I can pull 98% of the freight out here and not worry about my trailer damaging the product. You know what I mean? Like that, it just is. Y'all getting me on a rant, but that's guys thinking short term. They don't think like business people, and they just. I don't know what's wrong with guys. I don't know what's wrong with them. This short term thinking, duct taping their business together. Pull up to a customer, duct tape truck. I mean, now I'm not saying duct tape on the truck. I mean, everything about their truck is duct taped. They paperwork is duct taped together. Half-ass paperwork Everything is half-ass. Everything, their rates, their bills, their retirement, everything about them is half-ass. They trying to skip through life, trying to do the minimum amount of work. It's like, man, you ain't gonna get nowhere doing that half-ass duct tape lifestyle that you doing. Everything you doing, duct tape. When they truck go in the shop, they trying to figure out how to duct tape their truck. Man, pay the shop what they need so they can fix your goddamn truck, okay? You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind taking my truck to a good quality shop that's gonna do the job right, and it's gonna give me a warranty on the work. I don't mind on doing none of that. You know, especially if we talking about engine work. I'll take my truck to a Detroit engine shop I wouldn't even blink an eye. I would take my truck to an engine shop that I trust, and I know they're gonna do the job right, and they're gonna give me a warranty on the work. I don't have to worry about it. Like, I know guys, they be going to these third-rate, these second-rate shops, and they got to keep going back and forth, back and forth. It's like, dude, you just should have just took it to a good shop from the jump, you know? But that's just me, man. That's just me. Just everything, you know, I talk to guys, it's just duct taping their life together. Just duct taping their life together. It's like buying raggedy shit, half-ass shit, you know, trying to ease their way and fucking, you bullshitting around, man. Bullshitting. Pay the money up front and get the stuff done. Right. Yeah, I forgot all about that, DB. I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that, because if you go into a place and they reject you, that's gonna go down at that broker. That broker is gonna note you as having a rejection. Now you gotta call the broker and say, "Hey, I can't pick the load up because they rejected me." Well, what's wrong with your trailer? Oh, I got a hole in it. What about all the trucks do you think about 2006, 2007 tractors? I do like, if I was looking for cash trucks to pay cash for, I would look for trucks that's older than 2005. I would look for a truck without the EGR stuff on it. The emissions, I look for a pre-emissions truck if I'm looking for a cash truck. Because if you live in California, you pretty much got to buy a emissions truck. But if you live outside of California, then you good. You can buy an old 60 series, a truck with a 60 series engine in and be fine. And you can work on that truck and you'll be good, man. You know, you'll be good. You know, even if the truck broke down, I'll buy it. I'll buy that truck, get it towed to the yard, and have a mechanic come and fix it. And then once they fix it, now the truck's strong, good. Now you got a strong truck, man. So, but if you don't have that kind of time, then a lot of times, the reason why guys go ahead and buy a new truck, they don't have the time. They don't have the capital, and they don't have the time to be fooling around with a used truck. They don't have a month, 2 months to fix on a truck. Usually guys, when they want a truck, they want it right now to get to work right now. But as a future planning thing, if I'm going to invest in more trucks, I would buy trucks older than like 2004, 2005. You know, I get some Centuries, some Columbias, like 2000, 2001s, some 2003s, 2004s, that area. Or even some glider trucks. You can find 2012, 2000, you can find some, late model gliders with refurbished Detroit diesels in them. So you can find them kind of trucks. But you just picked up a Columbia 2007 for 17K, million miles on it. 17K. What kind of motor it got in it? because the 2007 was that year when they came out with the emissions. Because it's some Detroit Series 60s out there with that damn EGR crap on it. And, you know, I would there's some trucks out there that got that 2007. That was that year. I would get something pre 2005, 2006 without all that garbage on it. You know, 1,000,000 miles on it. Yeah, you spend 17K on that truck, but you're gonna have to spend another 17K on you're gonna have to spend another 17K on an end frame. Has that truck had a rebuild on it? What's the condition of the motor? Me personally, I think that's too much for that truck. I wouldn't have spent more than 10K on that truck. That truck ain't worth more than 10K to me. $60, okay. Yeah, so, you know, but hey, I got to get going on this load. I appreciate it, you know, hanging out with y'all. Sit up here and ran my mouth about random stuff. I ain't even get a chance to talk about what I wanted to talk about in this video. But, you know, I just wanted to make a title because I know y'all react to titles. You know, y'all like these titles. I know as I get more views on certain titles. Y'all don't want to hear 09 is EGR. Yeah, but just because it's an 09, that don't mean, because it's some Series 60s. It's 2007 is when the Series 60 engine with the EGR, that EGR pipe that come across going down to the EGR valve. So it's some out there. So, you know, if you look at your motor and you got that pipe, if it's a Series 60 and it's got that pipe that go across the top down to the other side, you got it on there. It's got that damn EGR valve on there. That was the early models of the EGR, the early ones before they came out with the DEF, because you got some EGRs that don't have DEF on it. And then the EPA 07 included no DEF, but it did have the EGR valve that come across the top of the motor. And then EPA 09. EPA 09 included DEF with the doggone EGR with the DEF the DEF filters, the big dome looking filters in the one box. And then it came out with EPA 10, and I think the last one was EPA 14, EPA 13 or 14, I think. What's the price of a 6 unit? In the Atlanta area, you're probably looking at about 300,000 or so. You could pay about 50,000 a door, something like that. 50,000 a door. That's where I like to stay at. I like to get properties around $30,000 a door. $20,000 to $30,000 a door mean you have to do some work to the property. But 50,000 a door, you could pretty much just move in ready at 50,000 a door. Anything over 50,000 a door, I wouldn't do it. So 6 unit, you're gonna be looking at about $350 for a 6 unit. Right now, anyway, I've been looking around. That's over here. Now, if you're talking about like Midtown Atlanta, you're talking about 10 times that. But I'm talking about outside 285, Stone Mountain, Douglas, Georgia, McDonough, outside of 285, you're probably looking at about $350 or so. About 50,000 a door. So I like to stay right around that, because you got to balance rent with the cost of the property. So about 50,000 a door somewhere now. You know, hey, let me get off here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I could be rambling on all day. Hey, I appreciate y'all watching videos, man. I'll see y'all next time.